Hello and welcome to Auntie Midori's BDSM Basics. Little short videos just explaining some of the building blocks of all of this that is kinky. Last time I talked about the general definition of BDSM, so now you know how I define it, which is childhood joyous play with adult sexual privilege and cool toys. We'll get back to that another time. Some other words let's talk about: topping or top and bottom and switch. Now I'm just going to go into the highlights here because there's a lot more nuance to it. But at the simplest, generally speaking, the word top, bottom, switch are commonly used terms around getting your fun met. Top means, at a really broad level, the person who's doing the thing. So doing the thing could be doing the wacky wacky, doing the bindy bindy. Could be the person doing the being in charge game. So the person doing. So the top. Also, it can mean the person who's physically on top in terms of a sexual position. Topping. Okay. So that's top or topping. Okay, so it can be about, and it can also be about, it can also mean the person who's the outie to a person who's being an innie, a person who is going into another person's body, and so that could be the person topping. Now, going into the other person's body could be various different parts or objects. Could be a finger, could be a tongue, could be a phallus, whether factory issued or aftermarket. So that could be about, so topping or top could be a person who's doing the active kinky stuff, may or may not include being dominant, may or may not include about being sadistic. I'll explain those later, but could. And topping could also mean, or to top could mean the person who's physically on top, like in a doggy style, okay? Or it could be the person doing the outie to somebody else who's being the innie. All right, so conversely, bottom could mean, well, the person who's being the innie to the outie. So it could be various parts. Could be the various holes between one's legs. Could be the hole on my face. Okay, I wouldn't recommend this because that's, I don't know, not that common, but I'm sure it's out there. And maybe here, not so much because, eardrums are kind of sensitive. I mean, hell, they say don't put Q-tips in there, so I wouldn't be putting, like, a big dildo in your ear either. Just maybe. I mean, I understand hentai, anime, fantasies, and all that, but I digress. Okay, so it could also mean the person who's receiving the kinky action things happening. So it could be a person who's receiving, being poked, being whacked, being spanked, being nipple clamped. I'll explain all that another time too. It could also mean, well, let's see. It could be a person who's following the orders to somebody else who's giving orders for fun. Okay, and again, all of this is consensual. Okay. Now, switching means in the middle of playing, okay, I was doing the wacky wacky, now I want you to whack me. It could also happen simultaneously, like I tweak your nipple and you tweak my nipple. So we're both switching up. All right, and you notice I'm saying topping and bottoming and switching. Sometimes we get really stuck in the idea that I am a top, I am a bottom. Don't get so stuck on that because these are like appetites, so it's better to be verb than noun. So in other words, topping means I'm doing an action, and bottoming also means I'm doing a thing, because bottoming is actually an action, even if you're laying there being the queen of starfish. Queen of starfish, I'll explain that another time. And y'all take notes, right? Okay, for questions. And switching is also a verb. So don't paint yourself into a corner of being attached to an identity. Appetites. Oh, here, there it is. Appetites, not identity. So topping, bottoming, switching, and it could be about physical position, it could be about innie outie, it could be about wacky pokey bindy things. You should probably make sure that you understand what the other person means when they're saying topping, bottoming, or switching, because it can all be vague. Anyhow, that's the short version today of Auntie Midori's BDSM basics: topping, bottoming, switching. And send me your questions and I will tackle them. Thank y'all.